Let's see, how should I start this video? Well, I could talk about the history of Legos, or I could just talk about Star Wars. I could also talk about the history of Lego video games, however, a lot of videos already do this on YouTube, so maybe instead I should just cut to the chase and talk about this game. You know what, yeah, I'll go with that one. Hey guys, Ben for BensGameTime here, and today we're taking a look at Lego Star Wars: The Complete Saga.
In 2007, LEGO Star Wars The Complete Saga was released for pretty much every system available at the time. The game was a combination of the first two LEGO Star Wars games that came out the previous 2 years: LEGO Star Wars in 2005, which focused on the prequel trilogy, and LEGO Star Wars 2 in 2006 about the original trilogy. This combination remaster also expanded on what the first two games did in their releases by adding in new content, making for a fairly new experience.
I'm just gonna say this now, I love this game. I played LEGO Star Wars 2 religiously as a kid, and this game improves on it in many ways, and is overall the best way to go about playing these games, especially if you only had one and not the other before its release. So, let's dive into why LEGO Star Wars: The Complete Saga is such a good game.
The story of LEGO Star Wars The Complete Saga is exactly what you expect it is, as it's a basic retelling of the 6 films featured in game. Each film is retold through 6 levels, with each level featuring an iconic scene from the film, such as the Mos Eisley Cantina, destroying the Death Star, the pod race, and the duel between Obi-Wan and Anakin. The levels are also accompanied with cutscenes that further explain the story, which are filled with jokes that could only be told through the LEGO medium that this game takes full advantage of. Every level is filled with destructible objects made of Legos, and destroying them has them fall apart into pieces. Many times in game, you'll need to build something out of a group of Lego pieces, and doing this has your Lego character constructed piece by piece. Even character deaths are filled with some Lego charm, as your character will fall apart into pieces. Even C3PO gets in on the Lego fun, and when he takes damage, he loses one of his arms or legs until he's just hopping around. A nice little detail.
I tell you what, this game is just oozing with LEGO goodness, and the gameplay is just as good.
The main goal of this game is to just play through all 6 films and experience what was, at the time, the full Star Wars story. The other main goal is to collect all 160 gold bricks in game, which are like the stars in Mario 64. This may seem like a lot, but for the most part, they're fun to get. Each level features a few different goals that reward gold bricks, starting with just completing the level. Each level also has a true Jedi goal to be reached for a gold brick. To get True Jedi, you need to collect Lego studs, the game's currency, which are literally everywhere. Destroying or building anything gives you studs, and studs are even just lying around each level. Be careful, however, since dying causes you to lose some of your studs, but they can be picked back up if you're quick enough. The goal of True Jedi is different for each level, and once reached, it can't be lost, even if you die enough times to drop below the goal. The other level goal that rewards a gold brick is collecting the 10 mini kits. The mini kits can either be out in the open waiting to be collected, or will be given to you by completing specific tasks like destroying or building enough of a certain object. Each mini kit contains some pieces of a larger LEGO work, usually a Star Wars vehicle, and when all of a level's mini kits are collected, the creation is complete and you get a gold brick. Other gold bricks are rewarded by completing bonus missions for each film, bonus levels that are unlocked when you get enough gold bricks, such as a version of the pod race level from the first LEGO Star Wars game, and LEGO City, a large sandbox with many destructible LEGO objects. Get a million studs, and the gold brick is yours. A few of the gold bricks can be bought at the Cantina shop, and the final gold bricks can be earned through the Bounty Hunter missions. These missions have you play as all the Bounty Hunter characters, looking for another character in a level. Just go through the level until you find the character you're searching for, and the gold brick is yours. Collecting all 160 gold bricks may seem like a large task, but it's pretty fun to go for them all, and it is just the beginning of what this game has to offer. Not only does this game have a lot of gold bricks to collect, but it offers a wide selection of characters to play as. The different characters in game each belong to a different character type, each with their own abilities. Blaster characters are the shooters and use their laser guns to shoot at enemies and objects. In combat, they get outmatched by lightsaber wielders by a landslide, but they have the unique ability to grapple onto different platforms and ledges. Some blaster characters are also able to dodge incoming laser shots from other blaster characters, but not every character has this ability. only the important ones like Han Solo or Princess Leia. Jedi can obviously wield a lightsaber and use the Force. The lightsaber in combat is your best option as you can block pretty much anything with it. Blocking laser blasts with a lightsaber will bounce it off in a random direction, but blocking the shot perfectly as it hits the lightsaber will send it right back to sender. As for other lightsabers, the lightsaber can block any direct attacks, but can't stop jumping attacks. The lightsaber is also your best bet offensively as its jump attack is unblockable, like I said before. As for the Force, it can be used to interact with different objects throughout the level, and can be used to stun enemies in combat. Sith, on the other hand, can do everything that a Jedi can do, but are able to use the dark side of the Force. This allows them to use the Force offensively by choking or electrocuting enemies, and also allows them to interact with specific Dark Force objects.
This kind of highlights an inherent flaw in the character balancing and design, in that some characters are objectively better than others, thus making some characters feel pointless.
Sith outclass Jedi and are generally more useful in game. As for blaster characters, they get outclassed by themselves and bounty hunters. Like I mentioned earlier, only some blaster characters can dodge, so there's no need to play as the ones that can't. However, bounty hunters can do everything blaster characters can do with two added bonuses. First, they are able to open special bounty hunter doors exclusive to them. Second, they are able to throw thermal detonator bombs as a secondary attack, which is completely unblockable. These bombs are also able to destroy metallic bricks that cannot be destroyed any other way. So, just like how the Sith are just improved Jedi, bounty hunters are improved blaster characters. But things don't end here, because there is a set of three characters that are more powerful than any other, and they are the Ghost characters. The Ghost characters are Jedi characters, but with even more perks than the Sith. Ghost characters are completely invisible, so enemies don't notice them. They are also practically invincible to almost everything in game. Attacks don't hit them, and stage hazards like poison gas don't affect them. They still die from falling off stage, but these are the best characters in game. They don't completely outclass the Sith since they can't use the Dark Force, but between them and the Sith, normal Jedi are useless by comparison. In fact, most characters in game are pretty useless, and most jobs can be taken care of by Sith, ghosts, and bounty hunters. My guess is that the reason why so many characters are in game is to give people the option to play as their favorite characters. While the option is cool, does anyone really want to play as Captain Achilles, Lamasu, Geonosian, the Imperial Spy, or even the Gonk Droid? That's my favorite character, the Gonk Droid. I love playing as the Gonk Droid. Other random characters have some different abilities. Jar Jar can jump high, IG-88 is both a bounty hunter and can activate droid doors, and small characters like Jawas and Ewoks can enter small doors.
Overall, the large selection of characters is nice to have, but when you look at what each character has to offer, you realize that there is a ton of overlap, thus making a lot of the characters feel unnecessary.
The levels in LEGO Star Wars The Complete Saga break down into two different categories: traditional platforming and vehicle segments. The traditional platforming levels are your basic platforming level, just get from point A to point B to complete the level. This is where a lot of the LEGO building and destruction takes place. These levels also contain many bonus areas. These areas are usually locked behind doors that require specific characters for access, such as droids, stormtroopers, and bounty hunters. Each of these rooms will have more of the LEGO building and breaking goodness that's all over this game, and typically they hide mini kits and other collectibles in them.
I guess now would be a good time to mention that this game has a lot of backtracking, and since that's what the script's telling me to do, that's what I'm gonna do.
Pretty much every level in this game has something hidden behind backtracking, but honestly, this isn't too big of a problem. The reason I say this is because all the backtracking is for collectibles and picking up more gold bricks for 100%ing the game. You never need to backtrack to beat the base game, so here it's more like adding replayability. Yes, backtracking in most games is bad, but I feel that negative impression usually comes from the game requiring it to just beat the base game. If you're backtracking for doing or collecting everything, then it's okay. So yeah, the backtracking in this game is pretty good, and it's cool to be able to play as any combination of characters that you want. The vehicle levels also have backtracking in them, but to a lesser degree. In vehicle levels, you take control of one of the many iconic ships from the Star Wars universe, like the X-Wing, TIE Fighters, and the Millennium Falcon. These levels still have you go from point A to point B, but all the while participating in some space battles. The vehicles also have the special ability to use these pink Pepto-Bismol torpedoes on specific targets, which is usually needed to progress through the level. As for backtracking in these levels, it's fairly limited to only a section or two that you need a TIE fighter to get into. These levels are a ton of fun and are just as good as the platforming levels. This game also contains a few extras that make the game even more enjoyable and extend the life of the game. First are the red bricks, which are hidden in each level. When collected, they unlock a bonus that, when purchased from the Cantina shop, will add to your gameplay experience. These bonuses can do many things like giving you invincibility, speeding up how fast you build or use the Force, and even multiplying the value of the studs you pick up, making it much easier to reach True Jedi. These red bricks are optional and don't affect the gold brick total, however, they are needed for 100% completion. Another extra are the challenge missions. Here, each level has a set of 10 blue mini kits to collect in a certain time limit. These can be actually tough, as a bunch of the mini kits are hidden in some pretty tough locations. You might need a guide for some of these, but when completed, they reward a bunch of studs, and they also contribute to 100% completion. This game also gives you the Super Story missions. These are large speed runs that span an entire movie's 6 levels. Complete the level in under an hour to complete the mission, and have it count for 100%. One last thing is that this game has a trailer for the then upcoming LEGO Indiana Jones game, and Indiana Jones is even a playable character in game. That is awesome.
Now this game isn't perfect, no game is. And the biggest problem with this game is the two-player co-op.
The co op in this game is noticeably a pain at most times. Both players need to be on screen at all times, so this causes the game to try everything in its power to make it so. This includes zooming out the camera a little far, disconnecting the player from the character until the character catches up, and worst of all, dragging the characters towards a specific direction, which can make exploration harder and make platforming rough. Co op in this game requires tight synchronization between both players, which is not a good way to handle co op. This is very much the kind of game where you dread letting your younger sibling play, since they'll want to do their own thing. Sadly, this game is just better played solo, unless you have a good co op partner.
And that is LEGO Star Wars The Complete Saga, and like I said at the beginning of this video, it's a great game. It is massively fun, it has personality, it has character, and there's just a ton of stuff to do in it. Yeah, the co-op is a bit weak, and the large selection of characters has a ton of overlap in it, but overall this game is pretty solid. I highly recommend it to anyone that is a fan of Star Wars or is a fan of good platforming games in general. I give LEGO Star Wars The Complete Saga 155 gold bricks out of 160.